thank you everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our RDA meeting. We will be starting off with our first item. Everyone is here from the board. We'll start off with our first item of approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
Oh, goodness.
I'll motion to approve the minutes for September 17th, 2024.
I second it.
Okay, motion from Adam, second from, oh my gosh, Pam.
Or Diane.
I was going to call you Patty. All right.
Brooke? Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye. All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 2, citizen comments. If you have any comments, please come up to the mic, state your name and your address, and also meet with Patty to fill out a citizen form. Oh, and you'll have 3 minutes. Come on up. Anybody? Anyone else? Okay. All right, we'll move on from citizen comments. Thank you. And discussion, that we'll go on to item number 3, discussion on fund balances from Brenda Moore, Finance Director.
Okay, I'll be very quick because you guys really don't care about this. You're more interested in the City Hall project. But we need to, once a year, I come in here and tell you what's going on. So just the quick areas, just as a quick reminder, we have the ore sampling site. There has been some cleanup over there. There is a TIF agreement in place, but nothing is final until he gets a building built, which could be years from what I can see over there. Cherry Street, the increment collection has stopped. The ending balance as of 6:30 was $38,000. I'm talking to Trey to see if we have some sidewalk, that will be very small, little bit of sidewalk for $38,000. Or they're also doing a stormwater project in that area that we will use that for, and then hopefully we will close that out by the end of the year. East Vine, the increment closes in 28. The revenue last year was $58,000, probably be about the same this year, maybe a little more since we raised our property taxes. Transfers come to for infrastructure repayment. We did have them pay for the portion of the Vine paving that was in their area, and we have transferred that to streets so that they can do another project with some of that. And the area balance was 173 at the end of last year. Fire clay, this is the big one. It's the one that's got the most amount of money. It's got the 20% low-income housing requirement. The increment collected was $1.9 million last year. The administrative fees are capped at 2%. They do reimburse the school district 12% of revenue, which last year was $239,000. 4 reimbursement agreements with the remaining balance of $6.6 million. In FY24, we paid out $756,000. It transfers funds to the wastewater fund for infrastructure repayment of $220,000 a year. For a long time, they were just doing $20,000, but they spent a few $1 million on actually putting in a big sewer system in that area to handle all of the apartments and stuff that were there or planned. The low-income housing balance, this is important for you to know, in just that area is $1.6 million. And the area balance that's unrestricted is 3.1. Central Business District ends in 2034. The increment revenue was 1.1. It does have that 20% low-income housing requirement. It reimburses the school district $400,000 per year, which is almost the whole amount that the school district gives us. I think when they wrote that contract, they were assuming that Block 1 would have redeveloped by now, and then So anyway, the school district is basically not contributing to this area right at this moment. There are no private reimbursement agreements right now. They are paying the 2016 bond for property acquired around here for City Hall and stuff. The payoff is in 2034, so it ends when the collection stops. The transfer comes from City Hall purchase from the city to them for $325,000 because the city is purchasing the property that the City Hall itself sits on. Low-income housing balance is $1.5 million. It has an unrestricted negative balance of $813,000. So all that means is that the first $813,000 of whatever property we sell will be make that whole, and then the other, however, $8, $9, $10 million, whatever we end up selling any of this property for, will be able to be used for projects. The smelter site, it has stopped collecting. Its low-income housing balance is $220,000. If you look, the sales tax to be paid in fiscal year 2025 for the homeless shelter that they withhold from our sales tax is going to be $220,314. It's going to match. I'm doing that so that their low-income housing will go away, and then we'll switch it and have Fire Clay pay that particular thing. The area balance unrestricted as of fiscal '24 was $2.8 million. So we will have $2.8 million plus a little bit of interest sitting there for whatever project we decide. And I think right now they're working on that feasibility for a bridge over State Street. See if we can do one. It's not going to be $2.8 million. I'm guessing it would be 10, but we could be the start. Just so total, the biggest number to look at in total, we have $3.3 million in restricted low-income housing funding that we will need to spend at some point in the future. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Brenda, I have a question. The ore sampling site, how much longer is Jesse Knight Legacy Center?
How much longer do they have time to do something with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the contract recently. I'm sure there's a time that's going to tick. I think we extended it. Because personally, I don't think anybody else is going to try and do anything with it. So
Yeah.
he is our last or only option right at the moment. And I don't know where they are in the cleanup. They have done a lot of work over there. And there's still a truck and a tractor and stuff over there. So, yeah, I don't know what
Because I
the
drove by
status
it
is.
just this week and I saw that.
It's
what
got
you
some
said.
nice graffiti. So far right now, it's not obscene, so it's a step in the right direction.
There's a
So-
lot of cleanup too, I'm sure. I'm
What?
assuming. A lot of cleanup in that area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done a lot.
All right, thank you, Brenda. And we will move on. Any other questions from the council? Okay. Or from the board? We'll move on to action item number 5, consideration of a resolution authorizing the amendment to the purchase, sale, and development agreement for the sale and development of real property located at 5025 South State Street, 149. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We
My
have the
bad.
Triumph group here.
It's okay.
I'm ready to move on,
You're
obviously.
fine. You're fine.
So item number 4, Triumph Group presentation on progress made on the property addressed by 5025 South State Street.
Okay, and I will just introduce Jim Allred and his partners in the Triumph Group. They have a presentation for you, and I will let them take center stage.
We're happy to be here tonight to update you on the progress that we have made on the project. And we've been working very closely with the staff and members of the staff to make sure things are in order, and we just wanted to update you and show you the progress that we've made. Preston, would you mind handing out those? We got some documents here to give to you that kind of show a lot of the progress. Let's see, I'm going to try and get the right cable here. There it is. Okay, thank you. We thought that a picture is worth 1,000 words, okay? And we've shared this with the city staff before in terms of the progress we feel like we're making on the project. As you can see, when our client asks, we can do it cheaper or faster. You can see what the results sometimes could be. And so we have put our heart and soul into the development and the design of this project, and in working with the local doctors, and have met with the board of directors of a lot of physicians and worked through this process. We've created a lot of drawings that give details of the exterior, and we have made a lot of corrections. We have, which is good news, we have about half of the first 5-story building with potential leases in place for the project. So we feel like that's a great accomplishment. On the 9th of October, we handed in all of the documents. Some of these documents we've given to you to just give you an overview of things. And through that process, if you take a look at the first page, well, the first page is really the good one, but the second page shows you the direction of the project, and you may have seen some of these renderings before. But what we've done is really focused on the detail. We went in and designed completely the parking structure. We met with 3 different contractors that build exclusive parking structures, and we picked up the number of parking stalls which would supply us with enough parking stalls to expand the medical office facility. And by doing that, we reduced the residential aspect of the project. But we pulled that together. The first page shows you those renderings. The next 3 pages are 3 different levels of the parking structure. And this parking structure is unique because there's a 25-foot change in elevation from Arlington Street down to the other end of our project, which allows us to put parking structures at 3 different levels and connect with the existing streets in 3 different locations, which is quite unique because it fits the site very well, and it gives you the information on these 3 pages. And then we come up to the multifamily aspect of the project. Now, as you recall, at one point, some time ago, we had put the multifamily in a big, long building, perhaps maybe similar to that one that was on Vine Street that's been constructed. And we weren't real happy with that because that's a rental project. This is a for sale project. And so we split that into 2 separate buildings, okay? And these buildings have these floor plans in them, okay? I just wanted you to have a copy of the floor plans. There's 7 units, and uniquely, they all have good views out of them, and you can see they all have balconies. The one on the left is one of the towers. We pulled them apart so that people living in them would have good views of Murray Park, of the mountains, of everything that's around. And so that we feel like is a real benefit to us. You can see from this that we've worked on the tower. This is the best looking tower we've had. You've probably seen 4 different versions of it. In the tower itself, we're not going to put people in it, okay? It's just too difficult to meet the codes for heights. It's too difficult from a handicap aspect. We're going to use it as a monument to our project. And so what we've done, and that's the zoning ordinance that we kind of fall under, that it's a monument to Murray City. And you can see it right there on the corner, if I zoom in on it. Now, we put a lot of work into that to make it represent the historical aspects of Murray City and some of the architecture that we've been able to participate in over the years with Murray City. Just to finish this little packet that you've got, it has the townhomes in it, and it shows you up here in this corner which unit we're portraying down below. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? And then if you flip to the next page, you can see the additional units, which are called B units. And you can see this B unit actually has a rooftop deck as somewhat of a bonus that comes out, and you see in the elevation where that can come out over the top of the adjacent unit. Then we go to the next one, which is Unit C, and you can see all these floor plans are different. We didn't want to take the time to go through each floor plan. That's why we wanted to give you all a copy of it. But we've had hundreds of hours go into the development of the design of these towers, the residential towers, the medical office buildings, and so forth. So then you get to the last unit, or the last page, and that's Unit D. So there's quite a mixture of different unit types. The townhomes, there are 16 townhomes, and there's a total of 78 units. We were allowed 99 units when we first got into our agreement, but we've cut that back, feeling like the medical was the most important aspect of what we were doing for the community, the medical and the restaurants. And so what we have done basically is, I'm going to roll this around.
Before you move on, do you mind just helping me orient myself? We're looking at State Street, down State Street right now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And this is Arlington that's going.
That across the
Yeah,
bottom.
right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so you can see from our model the medical office towers, and we had a restriction here on Arlington of being about 70 feet high. And then we thought initially that we would put parking underneath this building and only have about 3 stories. Well, the 70-foot high allowed us to add another floor to this. And as we designed the parking structure and articulated the 800 and something stalls we would get in the parking structure, we figured we could get another floor of medical. So we have 2 floors, 2 buildings with 5 stories for the medical. And we think they're going to be in great demand. And I'm going to have Jeremy discuss the demand and working with all the doctors and that sort of thing as soon as I'm kind of finished with the architecture and that approach. So as we measured off of Arlington, we were about 70 feet high. What we have done is we have, as we looked at this, let me come around Arlington, you can see the townhomes that start to come down the other street. What's the name of that street? Is that Myrtle? Jones Court. Okay. So Jones Court comes down, and you can see these are kind of traditional townhomes, kind of walk-up units to get to the various entrances on it. and we're striving to make those look historical as we come along. And so we have 16 of those on the project. What these do is they basically hide the parking structure. So as you can't see, I think it was one of the criteria that we wouldn't have any garages on the streets so that the project itself would be very attractive. So actually, when you go into the parking structure, you can also go into a garage at your townhome, which you've got a garage door as well. So we feel like it's going to be really well accepted. And as I come around here, I look at this unit, and if you look in the side area of this, we have found that and have made an application to the Planning Commission to change the height of everything to be measured off of Arlington, so that we don't have the housing drop down a couple of levels and look like second-class citizens. They all are pretty much at the same elevation, okay? And the reason is because we're dropping in elevation 25 feet. The first floor, as you look at the end of this, only has 2 units on it. The second floor, which is there, and the third floor only have 2 units. So there's only 6 units in this building in that floor, and they're there to hide the parking structure. So we're trying to make this as beautiful a project as we can. We've made application to the Planning Commission to agree to this height location, and I don't know if the city wants to respond to that or not. Okay? So what we're doing is they have given us a positive recommendation to come to you all in the next few weeks about that height issue. Okay? And so we want to put some really nice penthouse units on the top here, and we feel like that would facilitate a very attractive project.
Could I ask a question here?
Sure.
By the way, I'm loving the 3D render. I just want to look at it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm a visual person. Will parking then have access to surface, and someone could, say, park here and walk to State Street and come out on State Street, or will that be closed off?
No, that won't be closed off. And the nice thing about what you're suggesting, let me go around to the other level here. This is really fun. You're probably dizzy, though, because...
No, I love it. Reminds me of the video games. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm young.
Let me find my tower. Where did it go? Somebody moved it. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so now if you're coming down State Street, we wanted to make a beautiful entrance into this project from State Street. You see those wide stairs there right in front of that white minivan?
Yeah.
That's encouraging people that are coming from the park or walking down State Street to enter in, go to the restaurants that we have at the base of the tower, and to you'll even be able to use the lower levels of the tower of part of the restaurant. And even you can see there's a potential upper level of the restaurants, okay, for outdoor dining, seasonal dining. The great thing about this project is we've got quite a bit of open plaza area down here. You see all the little canopies and things of outdoor dining that will give us shade in the afternoon when you want to come to dinner, you know, at the Tower restaurant, okay? And, you know, people have criticized me and said, you know, why did you put tacos on there? Well, I really like tacos. I can't help it. So we're trying to entertain other restaurants to come into this space and be here.
Never apologize for tacos.
So you'll have, sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry, Adam. You'll have entrances on Myrtle, on Jones Court, and Arlington, correct? And not State Street? Is that correct? For parking, entrances for parking?
If you look at there's a spine street down the center of the project, which picks up the parking. Let me take you around to that. If you see this off of Arlington, you see this entry. Let me get right down to the entry. So you can enter in here and then slip into the parking structure. As I come here, you can see we're bridging across from the office building to pick up the parking that's there. And we think in the evening, there's going to be a lot of parking here that's not being utilized, okay? And we have chatted with the city and said, hey, that might be kind of a cool thing if, you know, the theater opens, and it's not a very far walk for them to go.
Jim, don't say if the theater opens, when.
He said it right.
Okay, all right.
But
Fair enough.
hold on. So. I don't have a question. The development on Vine Street, could those residents come in and park in here?
We're going to take the lowest level, okay, and utilize that for the residents. And then you can see 2 more levels here where you can drive in past the office and park, and then drive up from Arlington on the top level. So those will be for the medical, could be for visitors, for the residential. We wanted to secure those entrances at the lowest level and reserve that parking for residents and doctors. They need a place to park their Porsches. Okay, and that's important that we, I'm
Yeah.
teasing, obviously.
Well, I'm just curious. They'll be code?
Well, we'll
Code?
secure,
Oh.
we'll
Because,
secure that
I
entrance.
mean, if they need a parking space and they see something over there and they're just right next door.
Right.
The parking is limited during the daytime, and it will be.
Oh, he's got to come.
Oh, yeah, please come up to the mic. We can't, we have to make sure the
I think Jim was
online
thinking-
audience.
Sorry, Jeremy Lowry.
Yeah.
Parking is designed for this project and for the residences, and for the tenants of this property. So the lower level will be secured by some type of a parking, you know, a parking barricade. And the upper 2 levels, you know, if we have people parking there overnight, we will ticket and tow. It's not going to be available for general overnight parking.
Okay.
If when people park there from, you know, going from when the theater is built, we would welcome that. That'd be great traffic for the restaurants, but it's not designed to be overflow parking for the developments.
Yeah, because I'm a little concerned that RVs could come and spend the night,
Yeah.
you know, RVs and motorhomes,
Right, I think they
whatever.
probably have to have a parking pass.
Okay.
We'll have an HOA for the units,
Okay.
okay? And they
Okay.
probably have to have a parking pass if they were coming to visit Aunt Myrtle, and she needed a parking pass that she could give to them so we didn't tow their vehicle. You know, so the management components of that, is a good point, okay?
Can we go back to the restaurant? I noticed that there weren't any entrances to the restaurants off of State Street. They're all, maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Is there a reason why we don't have any that would facilitate pedestrians entering?
We were trying to encourage them to come around to one location, okay, and that was off of the plaza, because we assumed they could come up the stairs and then into our front, which would be located near the tower. And so that was our current concept for the restaurants, but we can alter that. I don't see a big problem. But you can see as we hone in on this, that we have some entrances there that could come in from that point. And so if we needed some off of State Street, and perhaps through zoning, we might get that idea too.
Yeah, this plan, again, is basically conceptual. It's just been submitted to the planning staff for their initial review, and there will be a lot of comments about access and different features of the plan. So you will see some tweaks and changes to this for sure, but those are all identified in the ordinance, in the development agreement and the ordinance for the MCCD that governs this development.
Thank you.
The nice thing is we have this model, and the model's accurate to a 1/16 of an inch every 500-600 feet. I mean, the the model is built off of the highest tech software available, and quite frankly, the headquarters for this is in Budapest. And it's used all over Europe, where being close and exact is very important. And we're fortunate enough to utilize it in our firm, which is very unique for any development. As I mentioned, there'll be 78 units rather than 99. We have spent probably, we will spend probably about over $3 million on the architecture of this project. The really neat thing about the model is you can go inside this medical building and you can take a look and see what your view is going to be like on the 4th floor. And we have the capabilities as we continue with the development of this model to show the housing, the views out of the housing and out of those areas to the views that they'll have. You know, it's so great because it's near the baseball diamonds, near Murray Park. It really is an extraordinary project. Have I missed anything? Oh, I did want to say that we have committed to applying for a building permit for the 5-story building the end of May, and then that will trigger the closing on the property. So I have talked to the city, and they've said, we think you'll get final approval around February because of December. You know, we could get final approval there. Then we're going to immediately jump into the working drawings and get a building permit and start to dig a hole. And the nice thing is having, you know, half the building in a lease position. And then I don't know when we want to talk about the other aspect of the demolition. Should we wait for now? Okay, let's have Jeremy chat a little bit about all the work he's been doing.
Hold on, I think Adam has a
I
question.
have one more question about the housing.
Yeah.
Originally, there was a plan to have a percentage of the houses that were 80% AMI. Is that still the plan?
No, I don't think so.
No, that was never our plan.
Sorry on the mic, just because we can't hear.
No, that wasn't ever the plan. It's a market-based product.
Okay.
All right. As you can see, Jim is a very gifted architect. We're very excited about the project, as he's mentioned. Just want to share with you a little bit. Jim has mentioned that we have letters of intent that have been signed on 2.5 floors of the building, of the State Street, what I call the State Street building. I'm going to just I like this rendering or this view really quickly. I'm just going to throw this up here for a second. So as I talk about different elements of the project, it makes sense. So this building here, this is State Street. You see the tower there. This is the State Street building. This is the first building this is our focal point. This is the first building that will be built along with the parking structure. This building, and it's a 5-story medical office building. Each floor is approximately 22,000 square feet. This is what we call the Arlington building. The Arlington building is built on top of the parking structure. Each floor is approximately 20,000 square feet. So it's slightly smaller, not much, but a tiny bit smaller. We have what we call the plaza area, so the Tower Plaza with space for 2 restaurants. We've received a lot of interest from restaurants, and frankly, we're at this point we kind of asked them to hang tight with us for a little bit. The reason for it is the phasing of this will be this 5-story medical office building is the first building to be built, as I mentioned, along with the parking structure. As you look at the architecture, basically everything but that 5-story, about the State Street building and the plaza, is basically either built on or in front of the parking structure. And so that's our main focus as we kick the project off. And I'm sharing that to explain why our pre-leasing activities are so important. As Jim mentioned, we have two condo buildings that are stacked flats. Each, I believe, have 27 units. And then we have 16 townhomes that circle the property. So the State Street building is where we're starting. We've secured JLL. They're a national firm who has a national reach to help us with the leasing of the project. As of today, we have 2.5 floors that have LOIs. We're really encouraged by the lease rates that we've been able to obtain. Jim and our architects' abilities to create these renderings have been really important for us. It is a massive project to go through this with these medical providers. Each of them, these are companies that have big revenues, have a lot of providers. They have board members. They have a lot of people who need to have a voice and have their voice heard. And so it's a big process to go through this. When we go through the negotiation with them, we're down to the type of key card access they'll have. We're down to where they want to have parking stalls for their doctors in the parking garage. We're down to what internet providers are available in this area. And so these are discussions that take a long time. And so we're really thrilled with where we are. The folks at JLL have been really impressed where we are with this. Have showed us that we're ahead of their schedule. I wanted to show you, this is our marketing piece that we have. This is showing. This is if you were looking southeast from the restaurant. I really like this information. So this is the outpatient specialty growth that they're projecting over a 5-year and a 10-year period, and this is in the zip codes that are surrounding. They're 84107 and the surrounding zip codes. And you'll see the reason why we talk about outpatient specialty growth is that's largely who's going into this. We're seeing specialists that are doing everything from everything that's up there from these specialties, and you see strong growth. I don't need to read through each of them, but for most of them over a 10-year period, a double-digit growth is anticipated for these medical specialties in this area. It speaks to why we're having success from a leasing standpoint. It also speaks to the need of this in the community. This is a resource that will be a big help to our community. Beyond that, what we're seeing, yes, Pam.
I have a question.
Yeah.
As I look at the zip codes that you're looking for the outpatient specialty growth area, Pam and I are not represented. Our zip codes aren't there. It's like
we're going to tell JLL they need to add
tell
that
JLL, come on,
in there. I know. What can I tell you? I noticed that too. Right when I put it up there, it's when it's not up in the big screen. They're really small. But we're really, so beyond that, what this project is doing, we've gotten to the point where we're sizing this from a construction standpoint. This is almost $150 million cost improvement to Murray City. This is a huge project. There's a lot that goes into it. This is much more difficult than the housing, for instance. We've had lenders come out to review this with us. We have lenders that would love to give us money to start the housing right now. We can't do it because we got to build the parking garage first. Housing is easy. The medical is difficult, but it's where and the juice is really worth the squeeze, both for us and for the city, because what will happen is this is going to be a massive improvement for the city. We're going to see property taxes, a property tax base that's going to be greatly increased. And beyond that, we're bringing hundreds of medical providers and staff to the city, and it will drive economic growth that doesn't happen with just a housing development. So we feel really excited about it. I wanted to highlight the typical floor plate. If you've noticed, we've kind of put the guts of the building in the middle of the building. So when you go into when you come into the buildings, you're going to walk in and you're going to walk to the middle. You'll have an elevator bank, you'll have the restrooms, and you'll have stairs. And we purposely have done that to be able to leave open the amazing views. One of the groups that signed an LOI is taking the entire top floor. And they have patients that come in and they're there for long periods periods of time, and they wanted it because of the views of the mountains. And so it's something that's really exciting for us to be able to provide these views, and it's something that it really is the ideal place to be. We put this model down, and this is one I love how this looks. So this gives us a really great orientation of where how the project fits into the rest of the community. For the residents of this, I mean, I can't imagine a better amenity package than pickleball courts, than the rec center, than Murray Park, than all the restaurants that are over in both to the north and the south of this. I think that this is a great opportunity for folks that want to live and work and walk and be part of a community. Beyond that, obviously we've talked about the medical, and it's across the street from the Intermountain Medical Center, which is a big driving factor for a lot of the groups that have signed the LOIs. We also have several groups that we're in talks with. We have 3 additional groups that we're in talks with. One is a group that's coming from out of the state. This would be their first spot in Utah. We'll see how that works out. And then 2 groups that are here in Utah. If we secured all 3, then the State Street building would be completely filled. So we're really excited to be talking to groups that would completely fill that building, and we're hopeful that by the end of the year, we've added 4 or 5 more groups that we're talking with, and now we're working on the Arlington building. From a staging standpoint, the Arlington building will be about a year behind the State Street building, just because the parking garage has to be built first, and it's built on top of the parking garage. The Tower Plaza and the restaurants will be built about the same time as the Arlington building. It frankly will be a staging area for the Arlington building as we go through and do this construction. As you look at it, we'll have the State Street building was built, the parking structure is built. That we hope to have that completed Q2 to Q3 2027. It'll be about a 2-year build job, and then the Arlington building will be about a year behind it, and then the tower project is right behind Arlington, and the housing will kick off just after the parking structure is up and operational, basically. So that's our plan. We're really excited about it. Beyond that, you can see again all the amenities that are here. We've had really great feedback, really great excitement about it for people. Most of the groups that are coming here are bringing doctors who are not in Murray, and bringing nurses and bringing medical professionals that aren't in Murray and consolidating them here into this location. There's some that are consolidated. There's a couple of small offices that are consolidating, or offices that are consolidating, but every group that we have under LOI is bringing people who aren't here now. One of them is bringing a lot of people who aren't here now. So we're really excited to introduce them to Murray and all the great things that we have to offer as a city. Happy to answer any questions.
I think it's lovely. The aesthetics, I really appreciate. And like I said, I'd love to live there.
Well, we'll have a few units open. The thing that's been interesting, and Jim walked you through the blueprints. I want to take a second, if it's okay, Jim. I love these. Each of these are 2-bedroom, 2-bath units. All of them have a balcony, as you can see. And beyond that, all of them have a really great natural light. And so this is going to be a really beautiful project for the Stack Flats. For the townhomes, as he mentioned, we have different units. This is Unit D. This is going to be for the units that are closer to Arlington. Because of the slope, they're going to walk in, and their main floor will walk into kind of their family room, great room, kitchen area. They'll have a couple bedrooms. They'll have a bedroom downstairs and then a bedroom upstairs. And then this illustrates the garage that has some storage that's built into the parking structure. Sorry, I really do like these a lot. So sorry, Jim. I don't mean to steal your thunder. And then let's see here. Where are some more of them? I may not have them all pulled up. But as you go down, you see we have a Unit A, Unit B, Unit D. This is the big one that has the big outside deck that we're just reserving for you, Diane. So it'll be great. It'll have an awesome view of the Ball Diamond.
And I also like the tax base. I
Yes.
mean, that will be really helpful. What I'm concerned about is the environmental footprint. I know you're shocked that I would be asking about that.
No, I think that's a great question. That's a great question.
I don't see solar on there.
Actually, we have it on the parking structure, don't we?
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten that far into the detail. We
Okay.
spent a lot of our time, we've worked on this thing full-time. And
Yeah.
just to let you know, as we're developing all this, and there'll be some components, we think we can hit the Uniform Energy Code, and we have that in mind completely. So as we work through it, there'll be some details, as Phil said, that we can work through together on the project.
And I would just tell you on the medical office buildings, and we talked about this a little bit before, this is Class A medical office. And we have to be environmentally friendly. It's what's required to meet that market today. And so these will be, the medical office buildings will be Class A office buildings that will be really well-performing buildings. And obviously will more than meet the code on the residential as well.
Okay, as long as you're aware of that.
I know, it's important. It's important to all of us. And
It's
really,
really
it's
important.
good business.
Yeah, that's true. It
it is.
really is.
Yep.
And
Makes sense.
I have some questions.
Yes.
What are the heights going to be on the north side, north, south, and east, west side? And
Jim, do you want to come up here? That's a great question. Probably can show you.
And you guys aren't going to come back later on and say, on State Street, we're going to go a little higher.
We're not.
No.
In fact,
You
if you see
you'll
the difference between the State Street building and
Yes.
you see the other one, we're sticking with here where it's not a radical drop in the
Right.
topo. We're making the State Street building a little shorter than the one that we're allowed to because it faces onto Arlington.
Yeah.
The rest of the buildings will be the same elevation as the Arlington one with this deal that the Planning Commission just reviewed.
Right,
Okay, so-
because it drops down where the old
Yeah.
Murray
Yeah.
School District and then
Yeah, so-
Creekside, it drops.
Yeah.
So you want to bring it up so it's all level
Yes.
looking? Okay,
Right.
Okay.
Can you show us that front view again, the one right before this? I think it was, yeah.
That guy.
So you can't see the buildings in the back.
No, because they'd be the same height as the Arlington building. So they're going to be the same height as this Arlington building here. They'll be a tad higher than the State Street building.
The Arlington building or the ones on the back?
The ones in the back will be the same height as the Arlington.
Okay, all right.
I think this is probably as good of one to see.
The model will show you the heights a little better.
Yeah, you want to plug that in?
Okay.
Are there any other questions from like a leasing perspective or kind of that? If not, then the model is way cooler than my.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the model. We're just
All right.
any excuse to bring it
Thank
back.
you.
Let's bring out the model then.
I could give you some software, quite frankly, that you could put on your iPhone and show these renderings to your neighbors. Okay? I could give you a set of cardboard glasses that are $15 that you can take your iPhone, slide it in, and you'll be able to walk through this project.
That's insane.
I mean, it's so cool. You can tell I'm not very excited about it, but in the 40-something years I've been doing this, it's
So
the neatest-
just due to time, if we can give you like maybe 5 more minutes and then continue with
Okay. I'll
with
try and get
GL's
through this real quick.
presentation.
I just
part
want to
of
show
this.
you those elevations. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, right there, I think. Yeah, and so we're just trying to keep them all in the level portion. And quite frankly, there's parking underneath that first level after the duplexes, I call them, hiding the parking structure. And so you can see we're trying to just match that elevation of this building right here. And then you can see
just to
right there.
clarify, if you don't mind me asking, go back to the view you had before there. You're not raising the townhouse height. That it is what it is.
Right.
It's the condo heights that
Yes.
matches the front.
We're trying to sell them as towers. They're tall enough to get good views out of them,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
didn't want to be obnoxious with it. But
Yeah.
if I'm buying a condo, I'd love to live in a tower where everybody has a great view, 180 degrees all the way around it. And that's why we didn't elongate these buildings, because that's just a long hallway with people looking in two directions. We want them to look all over, okay? So that they have better views.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We
I
still,
just want to make sure that the height is going to stay what it is, and it's not going to increase on State Street or any, like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, and you're not going to come back and ask for more height?
We don't, the height is controlled by the parking, right? And so we put more medical space in and took out housing,
yeah.
okay?
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Sorry. All right. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on to action item number 5, consideration of a resolution authorizing the amendment to the purchase, sale, and development agreement for the sale and development of real property located at 5025 South State Street and 149 East, 179 East Myrtle Avenue, Murray, Utah, and authorizing its execution. Jill.
Thank you. So you approved the original agreement several weeks ago for this project, if you recall. Can you hear me? You approved the original agreement several weeks ago on this project. And a few things have happened where we want to come back and ask for an amendment to that original agreement. The first thing is, the administration looking at this concluded that it would be wise to demolish the buildings now and not wait until they're owned by the Triumph Group. And so the idea is that since the RDA owns the building, it would go through our process and be demolished, and in the end, then this Triumph would reimburse us for that. In connection with that, we think it also wise, and Triumph has suggested that it act as construction manager for that project, so they can direct what needs to be done and make sure that they get what they want in terms of the demolition. Any questions on that?
No,
Adam,
do
you
we
look
know
confused.
how much it would cost now? I mean, what would be
There's a
reimbursed? Do we have an
figure.
average?
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's quite a big figure.
And
It's-
that would
it's-
come out of RDA funds?
It would.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
it would.
Right, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
For other, no.
It's over 700. I think the estimate is over 700, 750.
I was just curious.
Roughly. Yeah,
Just
that's a good
because
question.
it's coming out and it will be reambused.
And we have the funds in
We
the
do.
We do.
RDA
We do.
that are available for that?
do.
Okay.
Yes. Next on the amendment would be the tower. This is, if you're looking at your amendment, the numbers are a little bit confusing. If you go to the far left, you see number 1 on page 2 of that amendment. That's the first section that we're talking about. That was the demolition and reimbursement A and B. And then on number 2, down this side, which is the second 2 on that page, but it's at the left edge, we're talking about the tower. And originally what the agreement said was there would be that public observation that wouldn't exceed 78 feet. I think it was like that. And as you've heard, for safety reasons, they've decided to eliminate that. So we just took that out and said it'd be constructed according to the code. After that, you come to that part of their conditions of conveyance will be that they reimburse the RDA for costs of demolition. And then finally, we looked at the closing date and asked for a bit firmer date Mr. Albert has mentioned that already. It used to say that it would be 30 days after they got a building permit. We asked them to put a date in there. So as of May 30th, they need to have applied for a building permit. That'll come to the city, that'll be with the city. Then after we issue that permit, they'll have 30 days to close. So that gives us some sort of target date and a little bit more of a firm timeline. Those are essentially the amendments.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions from the board?
I was concerned about the January 15th seller disclosure deadline, but that doesn't matter.
So it's a good question. So they've met that. They've got the due diligence
So
period
everything
done.
has been met that,
Yeah.
up till now?
That's not an issue. The only
Okay.
issue now is when we'll close.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, I will take a motion.
So I'll motion to approve the resolution authorizing the amendments to the purchase, sale, and development agreement for the sale and development of real property located at 5025 South State Street and 149 East to 179 East Myrtle Avenue, Murray, Utah, and authorizing its execution.
I'll second.
Okay,
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
aye. All right,
Thank you
thank
for your
you,
consideration.
Jill. Thank you, Triumph.
Yes, it's such an exciting development. I'm so excited that it's going to be actually done.
All right, so moving on to item number 6, action item consideration of a resolution approving a grant of $400,000 of RDA housing allocation funds to Brick Hill Lofts LLC to provide 67 affordable housing units for elderly residents aged 62 and older. Phil, presenting.
There we go. This is another exciting project in my mind. This is an assisted, well, not assisted, but it is low-income housing for seniors, 62 and over. And Mr. Hooper Knowlton is the developer. He is here requesting the funds. And as you saw in the budget presentation by Brenda, we have approximately $1.6 million in low-income housing funds that we are required to spend on low-income housing. We do not have any projects in the pipeline right now, and I couldn't think of a better project personally. And Mr. Knowlton's track record in fire clay is an excellent one, and I would like to have him come up and just give a brief presentation so you can see a little bit more about his project before you decide if that's what you want to do.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, Isaac, get it right the first time. There we go. Okay, I had it up for a second.
There we go. Is that up now?
It'll be on the screen in front of you. There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Burke Hill Apartments was commenced back in 2011. Burke Hill Apartments was commenced back in 2011. We have built Burke Hill Phase 1, 2, and 3, which now comprises 307 affordable apartment units. The project, as can be seen here, with structured parking, recreational facilities, and the existing Burke Hill Apartments. What we are proposing is to build Burke Hill Lofts, the yellow portion, which is Phase 4, which is on the northeast corner of Fire Clay and Main Street. That project will be 67 apartment units, 15 will be studios, 42 will be one-bedroom, 10 will be two-bedrooms. Of the 67 units, 14 units will be at a 25% AMI affordability, 7 units at 35, 42 units at 45% AMI, and 10 units at 50%, for a weighted AMI of 41.74. And for very low income, 31% of the project will qualify. These are architectural renderings. The project will be permitted, and we anticipate drawing a building permit within the next week to commence construction. But you can see the various architecture that is proposed. This is looking northeast from the intersection of Fire Clay and Main Street. This is from Jumer Avenue. This is from looking southeast from Main Street. And you can see we have a very robust outdoor amenity component on the second floor. The parking will be a podium parking, and so all parking will be underground or at grade level within the building. This is the entry to the project. This is the lounge and leasing area on the main floor. This is a collaborative working space area off the lounge area. This is the second floor amenity area. And again, you can see the design of the amenity component on the second floor. We will have covered underground parking with electric vehicle charging stations. There will be a fitness and a yoga center. There will be a full kitchen for entertaining and parties in the amenity area. And we'll have patio decks. And we will also have studio apartments with full kitchen units and baths. The studio units will run anywhere from 375 square feet to 475 square feet. So as I indicated earlier, again, 67 units with a component of a weighted AMI of 41.74%. 14 of the units at 25% AMI are for homeless and nearly homeless with full case counseling services from First Step House. And this is being provided by the development entity at no cost to those tenants. Burke Hill Lofts Apartments received the federal and state tax credits in December of last year. On our state credit request of $10 million, we were only granted $6.75 billion, leaving us a deficit and capital stack of about $3.2 million, resulting in a final capital shortfall of $1.4 million. To cover that shortfall, we have taken the land on a carryback note for $1 million for 15 years, and we're looking to hopefully secure from the Fire Clay RDA $400,000 to close the capital gap. The project is subject to a LURA, Land Use Restriction Agreement, for 50 years recorded against the property from 2025 to 2075. During that period of time, all units must be affordable. Utah Housing and the Olene Walker Loan Fund all have LURA agreements that run with the land. Certification for the low-income rental units and the 50-year extended use agreement, again, for low-income housing credits and a declaration of restrictive covenants, the LURA will be for 50 years. It must be affordable housing units occupied by 62 of age or older. They must be low-income tenants, and the extended use period, again, runs for 50 years. Just moving back, I hit that twice, but that was the receipt that we received for our $433,000 payment to Murray City for the impact fees. So we're ready to go if we're successful in being able to persuade you to provide for us a grant out of the Fire Clay RDA funds. I'm prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, board? No?
No, I'd just like to make a statement that this is in my district, and there's certainly a need for this. We have many seniors who are really priced out of the market right now, and I look forward to this project moving forward.
Well, we appreciate that comment. We have developed, both in Ogden and at Burke Hill, affordable senior apartment projects. We think we understand the type of amenities that those people are looking for. There is a screaming need, particularly for affordable senior throughout the whole
state.
Wasatch Front, and particularly here. So we appreciate your allowing us to provide you more information as you make your decision today. Thank you very much.
Rosalba, can I say something?
Yeah.
Hooper, thank you. I want to also thank you. You have always, whenever you present, you make it even easy for me to understand, which is kind of almost impossible. So your presentations are always spot on. Also, I had no idea until you brought this forward that there was even a group that you could say, like 62 and over, that qualify for this. And we have been pushed by the state to bring a homeless shelter into the city, a winter homeless shelter to cover during the winter. And I believe, I don't know, I believe this could be something that would be able to help assist us when we talk to the state regarding this. So I just want to say thank you for bringing it forward. They're beautiful. And for someone with such low income to be able to have an opportunity like this just doesn't really come along, especially in this day and age. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
I just wanted to say before we take a motion, this is such an important demographic for transitional housing because we are needing it. So I do appreciate that you're coming forward and ask for assistance in this. I think it's honorable. I think more developers, if they could, should. And I know you have a big part of this project and have been working at it for a long time, so I appreciated it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, I will take a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve a resolution approving a grant of $400,000 of RDA housing allocation funds to the Burke Hill Lofts LLC to provide 67 affordable housing units for elderly residents aged 62 and older.
And I second it.
Okay, Brooke?
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Mr. Dominguez?
Aye. So, all right, that's passed, and congratulations, and we look forward to it.
I told you that was an exciting project.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those. We appreciate doing business with Hooper and his company. As far as updates, I really don't have much. The one thing that I do want to mention to you is that NeighborWorks will be having their Rake Your Heart Out on November 22nd, which is a Friday. And they are seeking out Murray homes right now to where they would have crews go and rake leaves, clean up the yards and so forth. And they are in need of volunteers, and they'll even be asking if city employees would be allowed to participate in this as well. So we anticipate some homes getting, some worthwhile homes getting cleaned up for the fall. Any other questions for us?
No, thank you.
That's
I
all
don't
we
think so,
have.
sorry. Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank
we
you.
are adjourned. Thank you.